afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our first ever One Book, One Buncombe author event. My name is Jason Hyatt. I'm the director of the Buncombe County Public Libraries. I'm so excited to welcome you here this afternoon. As I mentioned, this is our first ever One Book, One Buncombe author event.
Can you be louder, please?
Can you hear me on the mic?
No.
No? Up on the mic? Okay. We will get that going. Is that better? Yeah? Nope? Okay. How's that? Oh, better. Okay, I'll start again. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the culminating event of our first ever One Book, One Buncombe program. I'm Jason. I'm the library director for Buncombe County. So thrilled to have you join us. Before I introduce Brendan Slocumb, I want to tell you just briefly how this program came to be. Over a year ago, a group of library staff members proposed a community program as a way to bring people together, engage with their communities, celebrate the joy of books and reading, and most importantly, rally everyone around one book that they could all talk about and engage with. And perhaps the biggest challenge in that process was just finding that one book. There was a number of criteria that we had to go by. It wanted it to have a North Carolina connection, wanted to have themes that lend themselves to some meaningful discussion. We wanted to have points of view from underrepresented voices. We wanted to have subjects that could be expanded upon for programs across the county. And these and other considerations all went into the mix for our selection. As I hope all of you know from reading the book, we did manage to find one that ticked all of those boxes and more. Over the past few months, your Buncombe County libraries have been buzzing with programs and activities that explore the themes of the Violin Conspiracy. Book clubs have met for conversations, violinists have performed, folks have met in the parks for group reading events, junior musicians have led instrument demonstrations. The list goes on. We're especially thrilled that people of all ages and backgrounds have participated in new programs and new experiences at the library inspired by the Violin Conspiracy. These programs and experiences, including today's event, would not be possible without generous support from the Friends of Pack Memorial Library and the Trust Fund for Buncombe County Public Libraries. We are grateful for their financial contributions, which have allowed this year's first ever One Book, One Buncombe program to exceed all of our expectations. We're also grateful for the collaboration and support from Buncombe County's Office of Equity and Human Rights, NOR Collective Asheville, and the YMI. Their involvement has helped enrich our programs in meaningful and thoughtful ways. Today is Independent Bookstore Day, so we'd also like to acknowledge the support from Firestorm Books and Malacrops Bookstore for helping us promote and for working with us to get more copies of Brendan's books into the hands of readers across our county. Library events would also not be possible without two other groups of people. The first is you, our patrons, our community members and supporters. Thank you for being here today and for enthusiastically showing up to programs and activities at all 12 BCPL locations and for your continued support of our libraries. The second group is our dedicated library staff, both here in the auditorium now and throughout the BCPL system. Library staff, thank you for your fantastic work. And a special thank you to the planning team. They've given an extraordinary amount of time, attention to detail to make sure these events have been a success. Today's event is being live streamed, and I want to say howdy to our friends in Black Mountain who are assembled for a special live viewing party. So hello to the folks in Black Mountain and anyone else who's watching online. One more kind of housekeeping note. After Brendan has finished his remarks, we'll have time for Q&A with the audience. The library staff will assist in making sure if you've got questions, you have access to a mic. And then after the Q&A, Brendan will be available to sign books here in the front of the auditorium. We'll just need a minute or two to transition to that. So we thank you in advance for orderly lineup. And for anyone who may want to purchase a copy of Brendan's books, the folks from Malacrops are in the lobby with books for sale, so please stop by and do that. Okay, now for the main event. Brendan Slocumb was born in California and raised in Fayetteville, North Carolina. He holds a degree in music education with concentrations in violin and viola from the University of North Carolina at Greensboro. For more than 20 years, he's been a public and private school music educator and has performed with orchestras throughout Northern Virginia, Maryland, and Washington, D.C. In addition to maintaining a private studio teaching lessons on violin, guitar, and piano, he has served as concert master for the Nova Annandale Symphony, regularly performs chamber music with the Alexandria Chamber Music Society, and is an educational consultant for the Kennedy Center. In 2022, Brendan published his first novel, The Violin Conspiracy. It was selected as a Good Morning America Book Club hit, and in May of this year is the featured title for the North Carolina Humanities Council's NC Reads program. Brendan's second novel, Symphony of Secrets, was published in 2023, and he's currently at work on his third novel. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to musician, educator, and author Brendan Slocumb.
Hey everybody. What's up, Black Mountain? That was an awesome intro. That guy sounds amazing. Okay, apologies for starters because I don't have my contacts in, and I'm sure that there are some people. Can we give it up for the ASL interpreter? You really know everything that I'm saying. I won't do any dirty words. I apologize, I don't have my contacts in, and I'm sure that there are some people that I know in the audience, and if I don't see you or acknowledge you right, it's because I can't see you, literally. Wait, is Sandy here? I went to junior high with her. We were in orchestra together in 7th, 8th grade. I think we had math together too. It was kind of funny. Yeah, I got a story about her. All right, so my name is Brendan Slocumb. I am an extremely proud North Carolinian. I'm very happy to be here today. I live in Washington, D.C. currently. Thank you so much for supporting The Violin Conspiracy and my second book, Symphony of Secrets. Thank you, and my next one that's coming out, and I'll talk about that. Summer of 2020. Who remembers? It was jacked up for so many reasons. I was a working musician. I was actually playing concerts and weddings and recitals and everything, and then 2020 happened. I was sitting in a wedding reception performing, and we got a call from my string quartet that all the next 4 or 5 weddings have been canceled. Like, well, what am I going to do? Because this is how I pay my bills. What am I going to do for a creative outlet? Because, yeah, there's nothing going on. So I practiced a little bit, and I did what so many of us did after that, which was sit on the couch and eat Doritos and get back. Next pandemic, buy stock and snacks. I would be rich today if I did. So I'm flipping through the internet, as we all also did, and I saw an advertisement for selling books in the age of COVID. Why not? I got something to do. I read a book, I've written a book, sure I can do that. So I submitted the first book I ever wrote, which was a science fiction novel. It's the best science fiction novel you will never read. If you ever see my name on a book entitled Grounded, please pass it by. Please. Don't even open it. So I submitted it, and the agents who read the first couple of chapters wrote me back, whoa, this book is absolutely horrible. But you've got a good voice. You know, you should write what you know, and it's not science fiction. All right? I know music. I wrote the first chapter of The Violin Conspiracy, and I wrote every day. And I submitted, and it was like, whoa, this is the same person? Yeah, this is me. I decided to take your advice and write what I know. So I started writing the story. And a lot of people ask, you know, where did this story come from? I've been carrying it around since I was 9 years old, since the day I picked up my violin. And Sandy can attest to this. You know, we were in elementary school and everything together. I only did strings to get out of class twice a week. That's the only reason I did it, because I did not like school and I wanted to get out of class. So I started playing violin. I was okay at it, you know, it was fun. You go through elementary school, you get to junior high, this Ellington's class at Douglasburg Junior High School, And we're going, you know, kind of playing, and it was cool. And she actually said to me, "Say, we were in the same, both had this cowboy, you know. Oh, you remember how I used to get in trouble every day? Every day. You remember she would put me in the corner with my back to the, I was failing that every, it was the worst, it was like punishment having to go to my classroom every day. And my teacher, Miss Ellington, actually said to me, Miss Calloway and I are friends. And I was like, oh, this can't be good. And she said to me that she said that you're not really doing your work. Said, no, I'm not. It's because she's so mean. Well, that may be, but you still have to do your work. And if you don't, I'm not going to allow you to play next year. That's all it's. I kind of started doing my work day. Go through, you know, junior high, high school. I get to high school, I end up moving to another school. So my senior year of high school, my teacher asked what I was planning on doing after high school. And my natural response was taking a nap. Because yeah, school is over, I don't ever have to think about school again, ever. And she said, no, you know, like, are you planning on going to college or military work? I was like, I don't know. You see how inching closer and closer. So you see how uncomfortable I am. So I don't really have any plans for after high school. And she said, I think that you should apply to UNC Greensboro and major in music education. What's that? It's what I do. I said, well, I like you and I like music. Okay, sure, I'll do that. Had zero intention of making it, none. I went on a Saturday, and hey, is Paul Scott here? Okay, just wondering. All right, so she took me to UNC Greensboro on a Saturday. I auditioned, I played a piece of music for the cello professor, and he asked me at the end of my audition if I had taken private lessons. I'm like, no, I never had any lessons. He's like, you just played that and you've never had lessons. Yeah. Okay. I was like, I figured that was it. Yeah, there's no way I'm getting through this school. I can go home and take that nap that I've been wanting to do. And I got a call a couple hours later, and the cello professor informed me not only did I make it into the School of Music, but they gave me a scholarship. I know, right? So, okay, so it's great, awesome. Hey, I'm going to college. And that was fun. My senior year of high school, I worked, I played weddings, I played church jobs, I saved money to get these checks, and I was making great money, you know, $100 for a church service. Yes, I'm a pro now, I'm a professional. And I saved up enough money, and I bought my violin. I bought a 1953 Eugene Lehman, I see how she does Eugene. Oh, just okay. Eugene Lehman violin. And it was a professional instrument, and it was awesome, and I sounded great on it. Yes, starting my professional career. Took a family trip. I think this is why I don't like roller coasters. You see where this is going. I took a trip to Busch Gardens. I don't know if you've ever had your home invaded, but the moment you walk in, you know something's wrong. The overturned furniture, the TV that wasn't there, the radio that wasn't there, I didn't pay any attention to that. I went right to my hiding spot for my violin, which was under my bed. It wasn't there. I looked again. It wasn't there. So naturally, I walked out, and I walked back in because my violin is going to be there. Of course it's going to be there. And I looked, and it wasn't there. If you're a musician, your instrument is an extension of your body. It's a part of you. And the fact that I worked to own this instrument, you know, and I auditioned on it, and it was going to be my jump start to my career, and it was gone. And it hurt. And there's still a piece missing from my life, and that was more than 40 years ago. And it's just, you know, so if anybody sees a Eugene Lehman violin, I won't say anything, but I'd love to have it back. So I was without an instrument. It's like, there goes my college career before it even gets started. Generosity, gratitude, and just general kindness play such an important part in why I'm standing up here today. And I'm going to tell you about gratitude in just a moment. My teacher had heard, of course she heard my story, and I told her, and I was sobbing to her about it. She told a couple of friends of hers. There was this kid who has potential, planning on going to college, his instrument was stolen. They were like, oh, okay, if you vouch for him, then okay, cool. They loaned me their 100-year-old violin that's been in their family for, decades in an alligator skin case. All they had to do was return it, take care of it, and return it after 4 years of college. These people didn't know me from anyone. Just the kindness and generosity, just paying it forward. That one kind gesture allowed me to live a dream. I went to college. I flew for the first time. I've gone overseas for the first time. I've met some incredible people. I played with Stevie Wonder, all because somebody gave me an opportunity. Didn't have to, just out of kindness. And I'm forever grateful for that opportunity. People, helping people is a privilege. It truly is a privilege to be able to help someone. So I get this violin, I'm playing, yes, I have an instrument now, wonderful. I get to college, yes, I'm a college guy, I'm a freshman. And my claim to fame is, when I was a freshman, you live in a freshman dorm. Oh no, not Brendan, no. I had to be special. I lived at the University Inn. What's the University Inn? Well, I didn't have a room assignment because I didn't think that I was going to go because of my violin being stolen, so they had to put me up at a hotel. Can you imagine how awesome it was living in a hotel as a freshman in college? Yes, everything you think happened, yes it did. So my very first lesson, my very first private lesson was with Sir Trevor Williams. Yeah, a couple of you got it. Sir Trevor Williams. He was knighted by the Queen in England or someplace over there. Sir Trevor Williams was my first teacher. He was the former concertmaster of the BBC Symphony Orchestra. This guy was the real deal. So he would fly down from London every couple of weeks and give us lessons. All right, great, I'm taking from this guy, so he's got to know what he's talking about. So one of my lessons I was playing the Bach A minor violin concerto, which I'll never play again because he made me hate it. And which is weird that I had to play it because I played it before. I'm like, why am I doing this again? Anyway, I was playing the second movement and I played a B instead of a B flat. And Sir Trevor Williams got up, grabbed my hand, and he said, Brendan, Bach would never write a major third here. What are you doing? Like, dude, I don't even know what a major third is. I'm a freshman. I have no idea what you're talking about. And then he said, and this is what got me, he said, Brendan, your hands are too large. Your hands are too large to ever play violin in tune. I can't teach you. And that was from Sir Trevor Williams. So naturally, I believed him. So that was it. I was done. It's like, okay, I dropped lessons. I played in the orchestra. It's like, okay, I'll just keep playing because, I'm not taking lessons anymore. And I decided that was the shortest lived college career in my family. That was great. I can say that I came and did it. But believe it or not, Sir Trevor Williams did not last too long because he was in his late 70s, flying back and forth. It was very taxing on him, and he was having a lot of difficulty staying awake. So, at the end of the spring semester, he was no longer the teacher there. And there was a search for a new violin teacher. All right, I'll just sit in, I'm going home after the semester anyway. I may as well just see, who comes. One of the auditionees was the former concertmaster of the New York Philharmonic. It's like, these people, I tell you, these concertmasters, I don't know. He was okay, Then, Dr. Rochelle Vetter Wong walked in. She was from Converse College in South Carolina, and she came in up this hall, and she played a piece of music that I'd never heard before, which was the Zagan by Maurice Ravel, French composer. Changed my life. Just completely blew me away that she was playing that piece as well as she was playing it, and I could not believe it. And I said immediately, I want her. fortunately, the faculty listened, and they hired her. And I told her what Sir Trevor Williams said, and she laughed in my face. I was like, all right, well, I didn't say it, he did. And she said, it's like Roman's hands are twice the size of yours. You see how people plays. I'm like, all right, I got a chance. And I owe everything to her. She taught me not only how to play the violin, but she taught me how to teach. And so when I became a teacher, everything that she did for me, I like to pass along to my students, which is basically take people where they are. You take them where they are, and then you take them further. I didn't have, lessons like everyone else in school for being prepared, so I was behind. I had a ton of work to do, and I did. I put the work in. I put the work in because, one, I had to if I was going to be successful. I learned that early on. Thank you, Grandma Nora. Yes, she was absolutely real. She was my totally real grandmother. She's so sweet. Oh, and I was just going to mention Mom, and the story was not my mom. I probably should have let off with that. So I'm often asked, hey, what does your mom think about that? It's like, think about what? What are you talking about? Oh, that's not her. No, it's not her. So, yeah, my grandmother was a very, very sweet, inspirational woman, and I wanted to share her with everyone. I asked my aunts and uncles and cousins, and, was it me or was she really that sweet? They all had the exact same thing to say. She never had a bad thing to say about anyone. Even when her kids would get into fights with other children. Well, maybe the girl was having a bad day. That was my grandma. And I wanted to share her with everyone. She was the sweetest woman on the planet. And I was going somewhere with that. So my teacher taught me everything that I know, and I teach and all that good stuff. So summer 2020 comes along. And I'm like, I need a creative outlet. So I write this book. And people ask me, what is the message that you want people to take away from this book? What was the purpose in you writing it? It was very simple. I just wanted to write a good story. I just wanted to write a good story. And it happens that a lot of what was taking place in the story actually happened to me. And people say, is that real? Is that, did those things really happen? There was no way that stuff really happened. Yeah, that wedding scene. It was modified slightly, but it actually did take place. First time I ever saw hatred in someone's eyes. The father of the bride, as soon as we played the last note, he shooed us out of church immediately. And he just looked at it and I said, this is not what I paid for. Was it that bad? Did we mess up? It didn't click what he was talking about. And, a few minutes later, it really, I got it. I was like, whoa. And that hurt. And it stayed with me for a long, long, long time. The Baton Rouge scene. That was real. The only thing that did not happen, Ray went to prison. I didn't go to jail, but it was the exact same thing. It was the summer of 2000, pre-GPS, pre-smartphones. You guys remember those days? I was driving cross country with a friend of mine from college right before school started. It was in August, and we were heading down to New Orleans from, we were in Baton Rouge. Okay, let's spend a night in Baton Rouge. My hotel is on this side of the city or street or whatever. I'm in the far right lane, looking at a road map. You guys remember those? I still keep an atlas in my car. Never know when that EMP hits. Jokes. So I'm looking at the road map, and my friend is like, "Oh yeah, it's over that way." So I put on my left. There's nobody on the road because this is Sunday evening. I put on my left turn signal. Turn this way, lights and sirens. And I just had a feeling something like that was going to happen. Why did you think something was going to happen? Well, the reason I thought something was going to happen is because of my experiences. I was a black dude in the Deep South, in a brand new black car. I know some of you are like, what? I don't get it. I mean, it's that. Hey, it's my perspective, my lived experience. So I was like, yeah, okay, here it comes. So the cop pulls me over. My friend is sitting in the car. The cop pulls me over. Lights and sirens. He gets on his bullhorn. Driver, get out of the car. Driver, put your hands up. Walk backwards. Okay. Show me your ID. I'm reaching very slowly into my back pocket. I pull out my wallet and I put it on the ground. Get on your hands and knees. Oh, jeez. Here it goes. Like, this is it. It's like, it's been fun. It's like face down. Okay, here it goes. He comes up to me, of course the gun is drawn. He comes up to me, picks up my driver's license, and he says, all right, you can go. And much like you guys, I was like, well, what was that about? I was like, oh, you made an illegal lane change. So this is what you do for people here in Baton Rouge who change lanes illegally. Really? And it hurts. And I called the police station, I called the chief. I said, yeah, I'm working with this guy. And of course, well, not of course, but the chief said, he actually said this to me, well, maybe he just didn't think that you could hear him. I said, okay, you don't think it has anything to do with anything else? No, we don't do that. All right, dude. I will never come back to this town ever, ever again. So if there's ever any events in Baton Rouge or bags of money, they're just going to stay there. I'm not going back there. But yeah, that experience hurt a whole lot. And I was very, very bitter. Very bitter. Understandably, right? Okay, but you know what I did? What'd you do? I'll tell you what I did. Instead of holding on to that anger, I just refocused it. I refocused it, and I was like, you know what? If things like this are going to happen, I'm going to get something out of it. It's going to make me a better person. It's going to make me a stronger person. I will deal with this. I will take the hits so that the next person who looks like me doesn't have to. I will totally deal with this and take all the harshness and everything so that my nephew growing up doesn't have to do this. I will, yeah, I'll take it. I'll do it. Just, you know, I'll totally take it. And that's been my philosophy. My gratitude comes from everyone who has done anything to help me along the way. It's been so many people. We can all probably name one person that really stands out in our lives that has given us something that made us want to keep going. Anyone? Anyone know anyone like that? For me, it was my music teachers. It was my college teacher when I wanted to quit because I wasn't good enough. When I wanted to quit because it was so difficult. When I wanted to quit because I walked into a place to play and they didn't take me seriously just because of the way I looked. When that built up and it made me so discouraged, she gave me the courage and the inspiration to keep going. Just that one person. I'm forever, forever grateful. And I've gotten so much help. Those nice people who let me use their family instruments didn't know me from Adam. They didn't have to do that. Forever grateful. I am so grateful. Sorry. I got thank you tattooed on my forearm to show my... to show my gratitude every single day. Every single day, anyone that does anything that's going to help me out, whatever I can do to pay it forward, I will always do that. Hey, Brendan, can you come here and do this? I'm there. Hey, can you come and talk to these kids? Yeah, I'm there. Hey, can you come and play at the... Yeah, sure, we'll do it for you. Absolutely. I know what it's like to need help, and it's just a wonderful thing to be able to help people. Now, with the story of the Violin Conspiracy, it's a book about a violin. I'm a violinist, and I don't even read books about violin. So I'm fascinated that people can relate to this story. The family dynamics. Yes, maybe not to the extent of Ray's family, but we can all identify with family dysfunction, yes? Is there anyone who does not have family dysfunction? If so, you should write a book for it. Because I will buy it. Doing what you love because you love it. I have been told so many times, you can't do this. This is not for you. You should do something you're going to be good at. So many times I've been told that, and I actually have the courage to keep going. You know what? This is what I like to do. Brendan, you should not be, this is not your kind of music. You shouldn't do this. Say, do you remember what a big music dork I was in class? Just say yes. It was fun. We had fun. We did have fun, but we played some good stuff. I loved it. And had I listened to the naysayers that were like, no, this is not for you. This is not your kind of music. You know, had I listened to those people, there's no telling what I would have done. Had I not joined that strings program, I probably would be, like a lot of my other friends, incarcerated or unfortunately deceased, because they didn't have a music program to fall back on when they were, instead of doing bad things, I was playing my violin. Instead of, you know, breaking into people's houses, I was practicing Mozart. You know, I was on a school trip. I was exploring music in a way that I never thought I'd be able to. And I'm so incredibly grateful just for that opportunity. So I'm a huge fan of public arts, public school arts, music education. Because I'm living proof that it works. And living proof that it works. It does, it works. A couple of questions about, see how I'm doing on time, I talk a lot. The Violin Conspiracy. How many of you, is there anyone who has not read it? Ooh. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna do my best not to do any spoilers. The book's been out since 2020. Late 2022. You've had 2 whole years. No. Originally, the original culprit, the original thief, people often ask, did you know who it was going to be from the very beginning? Absolutely not. I changed the thief five times. Originally it was this person, then it was them, 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 and then it ended up being them. But yeah, because people ask, you know, are you a plotter when you write, or do you just, you know, write by the seat of your pants? Grounded, the book that you'll never read, was a seat of the pants book. That's why I'm a plotter today. I line up everything, and my musical background has been so instrumental. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'll be here for a little while. My musical training was extremely important in the way that I set up everything. When I write a story, it's just like a piece of music. You have the overture, you have the introduction, you have the middle section, the development, and then you have that finale. And you know, that's how I like to write, and that's how I like to read, and that's how I like to watch movies, and that's how you can tell if something is good, if it follows a formula that you can relate to and you like. Yes? I think so too. All right, good. Glad we agree. But yeah, and people, well, how long did it take you to write it? What were you? Summer 2020, I had nothing but time. Dust the Dorito crumbs off and you're good to go. You just sit. I was so accustomed to practicing a couple hours a day, just sitting there and doing it. So sitting down and writing 2,500 words a day was like no big deal. So I know authors, I've met so many incredible people on this journey, and you know, authors 10 years later still haven't finished a chapter. What are you doing? I'm just waiting for that inspiration to hit me. I don't like to hit you, just so you It's a chapter, it's a paragraph. But yeah, I sit down and I write every day, and people often, you know, sometimes will ask me for what's your best advice. Write what you know, write what you love, write honestly. Because if you don't believe it, how can you expect someone else to? And I have tried to stick with that and just stick by it and live by it, and it's worked so far. So, are there any aspiring writers? Everybody's an aspiring writer until you call them. Well, I hope you guys are writing often and honestly. I hope so. So I was pleasantly surprised when The Violin Conspiracy did as well as it did, because again, it's a book about a violin, and the violinist, I didn't want to read that. And one thing that I was really concerned about is authenticity. If there was one mistake, if anyone plays an instrument, or if there was a term misused, or if I was talking about playing the violin and I say, put your chin on the chin rest, you know, your chin doesn't go on the chin rest, your jaw does, you know, just little things like that. I was, okay, you know, I got this. And my agent was He was a non-musician, and he didn't know, he was taking a chance on me. He didn't really know that I knew as much as I did about music. And he said, okay, I need you to send this to a qualified professional. He really said that, and after I put my fists down, because I was going to punch him in the throat for saying that, I said, okay, you know what, that's cool. You don't know me, but I can guarantee you everything in this book is accurate. I can guarantee you. So, okay, I just want to be sure. Yeah, it's fine. So I sent it to my teacher, my violin teacher. I hadn't seen her in 27 years, and I sent her the manuscript. One of the main characters, Dr. Janice Stevens, is based on my violin teacher, and I wanted to share her with the world and show my gratitude to her for teaching me everything that I know. And so I send the book to her. She emails me back the next day, Brendan, I was only planning on reading for half an hour. 3 hours later, I couldn't put it down. And I can't believe you remember those details. Not only of the lessons that we had, but the conversations that we had, even the music that I play. How do you remember this? It's like, because you impacted me so much. I am where I am right now because of you, and I just want to show my gratitude and thank you for that. And this is the best way that I know how to do that. So yeah, and then she sent it back with a big red note. Everything is perfect. So then I looked at my agent. Don't do that again. I was like, okay, I trust you. Was it all easy and roses and all that good stuff? No. You know, it is hard to get a book published. You know, but not like in the sense that you would think. Are there any published authors in here? See, you know what I'm talking about. Maybe you do. Maybe. Just say yes. All right, cool. I had some knockdown, drag-out fights with some people in the editorial department. You know, my perspective was a lot different than theirs. So as I was writing these things down and giving them to them, I got so much pushback. This is too far-fetched. Things like this really don't happen. There's no way this happened. There's no way this took place. People are not going to believe this. And I didn't understand it because I'm like, this is real. This is my experience. And there was a lot of pushback. I had a lot of fights, and I had to fight to keep a lot of things in because I totally get that if you don't look like me, you don't come from the same place that I come from, you know, why would you understand that perspective? And I was like, it's so important for me to get this out to people especially who are willing to learn and grow from other people's perspectives. You know, there's not just one way of looking at things and one way of being. You know, people are so open. It's one thing that I really enjoy about the audiences who like this book. You guys are willing to read a story that, you know, there's probably one person in the book that you could really relate to, but you're into the story and you get it. And I appreciate that so much. And I know some of it was challenging. I know some of it was chapter 33, right? Nora's letter. Did anyone have a hard time with that? Yeah. It was difficult to write. It was really difficult to write. No offense. Wait, where are the school teachers in here? Okay, where are the history teachers? Social studies? Okay. Not knocking North Carolina public schools. Start by saying that. When I was in school, we got America had slaves, black people picked cotton, Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. Ta-da! And that was all we got. And I started to dig deeper. I'm like, whoa, this is intense. This is brutal. This is, you know, it's very, very uncomfortable. But those are the exact conversations that we need to have in order to move forward. If you don't understand where someone is coming from, who wants to finish that? You can't appreciate their journey. You can't. So I have this off to everyone who actually made it through chapter 33. And believe it or not, that's the toned down version that made it into the book. So a lot of you are going to reread chapter 33, please do. I mean, it was pretty heavy, it's pretty deep. And a lot of people often ask me if I am bitter today after, I have a friend who's in Australia who read the book. He said, Brendan, how are you such a nice guy after going through all of this? My answer is, you know, was I angry? But yeah, of course. It's natural to be irritated, upset, angry. But I also decided, I made a choice. I'm going to not let someone else affect my happiness. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that no one else has to go through what I've been through. If I walk into an auditorium full of people with a violin, I want that expectation to be that it's going to be excellent. Just based on the fact that I'm walking out of the stage. I don't want critiques and criticism based on my haircut, my accent, my tattoos, my attire. We're not going to judge people. We're going to actually see people for who they are as opposed to what they look like. That's what I wanted. Wait, is this rainbow?
That's all day.
Oh.
Rainbow.
Rainbow. Don't get that? Do it with me. Rainbow. Thank you. See, we were learning. I'm a teacher. We're learning stuff. I have a point to that. What was it? Y'all clap for something. What'd you clap for? Yeah, see me for who I am, what I do, not for what I look like. And you know, that's what I want for everyone who comes after me. Everyone who looks like me who wants to play the violin. Yeah, you can do it with no problem. Everyone who looks like me and wants to play classical music. Yeah, sure. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. You don't have to jump through hoops and get people to accept and appreciate you as a novelty. You know, it's not a novelty. It's life. For a lot of us, it's life. Music is a life-saving force. It truly is. That should be shared with everyone, not just the elites, not just the rich people, not just those that can afford an instrument. It's for everybody. Music is the only thing that you can go across the world, not speak the language, and have an instant connection with someone. There have been so many times where I've sat next to people we don't even speak the same language. We start playing together, and it's a wonderful, wonderful connection. And it's all through music. And to deny anyone that, it should be a crime. I'm living proof that it works. Living proof that it works. Living proof, and it'll make you skinny too. Sorry. Ignore that. Strike that last one. Sorry, Black Mountain. We're just kidding on that one. But yeah, that's my story. That's my journey with the Violin Conspiracy, and I am so incredibly happy that you guys have supported it as much as you have, and just being chosen for the one book. That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. You guys have tons of choices, hundreds of books, I'm sure, hundreds of very seasoned authors who are, you know, much better than I am, and you guys went with me, and I'm so incredibly grateful. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Question hour?
Yeah.
I think the mic's on now. So we're going to switch over to question and answer for a little bit. Brendan's been gracious enough to take some questions from the audience. We have 2 mics, one at the end of each aisle, and then we have 2 more that are going to be floating around. So if you would like one and you're in the middle of an aisle, just raise your hand. And yeah, come on up and we'll call on you.
Anyone? Don't be shy. Sandy, I know you got a question. Hey, I'll come to you.
I had the same experience as your teacher reading it. I thought, you know, I've got to go to bed at 2:30. And I said, oh no, I was taking a half hour. So I loved it. I have a very minor criticism. No, it's funny. No. The character of Nicole's, the boyfriend, Terry Marcus.
Terry, yeah.
Someone who was in need would never associate with anyone that's loving. As a woman.
Thank you. Maybe that's why they were living separately. See, the thing about critiques and criticisms, the reason I am totally okay is from my musical training. I'm so used to hearing, do more of this, do less of this, do this better. I'm so used to that, so it doesn't hurt. I've seen people milk down when someone gives them a critique. Are you serious? It's just going to make you better. But, you know, I'm glad I'm a musician.
I don't have a tattoo, but I have two thank yous for you. I'm a retired music teacher from Fairfax County, Virginia, and spent my career up there and sang with the choir at the Kennedy Center, and so I know I'm nobody, but you would not have heard of me.
Why not?
We'll talk later. I just wanted to thank you because you did such an amazing job of capturing what it feels like to make music. I've never heard it written like that. But I know tears many times because I thought, I've never heard anybody be able to express, because musicians know this is what's going on inside you when you do it. But it was just, and you gave us several opportunities to read that, and it's just such a gift to everybody, but to musicians. And the other thing that happened that I thought was wonderful, because I read tons of books like we all have, and we all kind of, there's formulas that books follow. So you're reading along the book, and the guy's getting into a crisis of some kind where something awful's happening and he's having to perform. And in my mind, I'm like, I gotta close this book because he's gonna crash and burn. I cannot watch this guy crash and burn, but I kept going, and almost, or every time, or maybe almost every time, he faced the crisis, but his innate muscle memory and music shone through, and he absolutely still went out and killed. And that was just so inspiring to read, that he continued to do that. And I think that's probably very true. That's not falling for what a lot of authors would fall for, which is this thing, fall apart on the stage and have a terrible time. He could always call on when he knew about music, and I thought that was great.
My early drafts were super technical. When I was talking about music, everything was technical. Everything was technical. We're going to do a sautier going through, we're going to do some staccato over here, this articulation. And I let a non-musician read it. What is this? Right? And then I was asked a very simple question. And you get this as a music educator. What does it feel like when you make music? This is what it feels like. Whenever I play this piece of music, this is what's going through my head. And I want to be able to share that with people. It's such a gift to be able to share that. And you know, that was the best way through the imagery that I could, you know. What is your name?
I know.
Did you, what high school did you start?
I'm sorry?
What high school did you start?
I didn't teach.
What in high school? What middle school?
I was in elementary school.
Ruth Howe. I knew you. Over by West Potomac. Yeah. All right. I was at Robert E. Lee for. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I know your name. Yes. Nice to see you. Sorry, we're having a moment. Sorry. Hey.
Lovely.
Thank you.
As a performer, as a musician, as a member of an orchestra, it's a gentleness to see people come in and as guest soloists. It was interesting to see your perspective. Now, you said you changed, spoiler alert, for those out there, you changed the person who committed the crime. But when she showed up in New York, I knew. I said, how could you know so early? But at that point, I was very suspicious. And so had it changed before then? And the other individuals that you had other people.
I had 5 other people in mind.
Were they suspect before she came to the York?
Oh yeah. I pulled in Agatha Christie. Agatha Christie is one of my favorite mystery writers, and you know she's got 1 million characters in her stories. And what she does is she writes the entire story, like whatever happens, the murder or whatever, she writes it all. And then she picks one person and then goes back and rewrites things to make it work. Ta-da! Agatha Christie. I appreciate that. Hey.
Hi, Brendan. I read your book both as a reader as well as a writer.
Oh.
And I really am curious about your process. For example, when doing a long work, it can be challenging to stay juicy. The temptation to quit or to give up, the resistance and so forth. Did you do any writing exercises or, for example, like the artist way, different types of artist states or anything like that to keep your work alive? And one more question, how many drafts did you go through?
So as a writer, you're going to hate me. I'm going to answer the second part first. So this is not typical. I've never been able to do it since. Violin Conspiracy took me 2 months to write.
Oh.
One draft. I'm not tooting my horn or anything. It was the story. I've been itching to tell it for decades, for so long, and it just came out. And in regard to the first part, I really fall back on my musical training. You sit down and you just do it every day, and taking critique and criticism. I let so many people read. I would let them read 3 or 4 chapters at a time. Tell me, is this boring? Is this slowing down? Is the pacing keeping up here? Do you understand this? Is there something that you don't get? I take all of that feedback, all of it. Not all of it was good. There were some good things, and a lot of it was, yeah, this is, I could do less of this. And you just take it in, you take what you can use, and you disregard the rest. And it's like, you just do it. I want to be entertained when I'm reading. So I would always go back and reread every chapter, and I add chapters to it. And if it was not holding my attention, then it's not good. I need to make adjustments. But I was not afraid to take comments and criticism. I think that's the biggest thing. People take things personally. And sure, understandably, but if it's going to help you to get better, let's look at it that way instead of a personal attack. Does that help any?
Hi, thank you for coming and for sharing your story with people. So I was here, I'm not sure how long ago, here now for the Jason Reynolds event with my best friend Nicole. She's watching. Hi, Nicole. I was gifted by the public library a copy of your book, and I didn't pick it up to read it. I teach school, and I'm a adult beginner on the violin. Hardest thing I've tried to learn. For real.
Yeah.
But anyway, my students just started a unit where they get to pick their own book to read. So I picked your book up to start reading it this past Monday. And at 2 a.m. on Tuesday, I put it down. So thank you. But I wanted to ask you, actually.
I want to apologize for that.
No, it's a good thing. I don't do that. I mean, my kids at school think that English teachers love all books always. That's not true. I don't do that for every book. But anyway, there was a question. And I loaned your book to a kid who wasn't liking the book that he picked this week. And he's like, this is really good. And then he got to the wedding scene yesterday and came up to my desk and said, what time is this supposed to be set in? It can't be now. Oh, no. Yeah, I think it is now, Kevin. Yeah, but I wanted to ask you about books that you've read. I love how you're engaging with our interpreter. Have you read Song for a Whale?
Not yet. It's on the list.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
And have you read like For Uncommon Stars?
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I totally didn't say that. I am a huge fan of classics. One of my favorite writers now, like modern writers, is Colson Whitehead. If you haven't heard of Colson, you should read it. If you want to be moved, his stuff it takes you places where you're just like, I can't believe I'm actually reading this. And it makes you uncomfortable, and it makes you want to just, he's so unafraid, and I actually love it. I'm into just regular fiction. I love historical fiction. Some of my favorite writers, I'm one of those people, friends who we debuted at the same time. His name is Eli Craner. He is a phenomenal writer. Everything that he writes is just bang it, everything. Eli Craner, I'm telling you. So I'm really enjoying all of his stuff, and you know, I like the classics, and you know, anything Coles and White that you can't go wrong.
I've got his book in my classroom too. It's on my list.
Nickel Boys?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, so.
Thank you.
Pleasure, thank you. Thank you for playing with us. Yeah, okay, sure. Can you guys hear?
Testing, 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to thank you for writing the book. When I read the book, I was with you as a human being. Okay? And now that I met you, you could be my son. I was born in 1936, and I know the stories, the things that set people free that we knew. I just want to say, I'm glad we have a son that never like you. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, sir. Thanks, Dad. Very, very kind of you to say thank you very much. Oh, man. Did you do that? Hey.
I'm a history teacher, but not in North Carolina. And it's really interesting. I'm from Connecticut, and that's where I taught. And it's different, which I was so surprised when I moved here. I started teaching American history with the indigenous people, and the kids said, "But that's not the book." And I guess that's where we're starting. Anyway, I just wanted to say that I have no musical abilities. They tried to get me to play the piano, forget it. I can't read music. I don't know much about classical music. Your book, and I've read 177 books last year, so I read a lot. Just, I couldn't put it down either, and I know nothing about music except what I like to listen to. I felt like I was playing the violin. It was magical, so thank you.
I tell you, y'all really know how to make somebody feel welcome in Nashville or Buncombe County. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you so much.
I think we've got a question in the back. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I'm a man.
Oh, I no contact, sorry.
No offense taken. I'm also a retired educator, and I would say exactly what the lady in front of me said about having students that ask that question over and over again. Is that really happening? That's not happening now. And I taught in the county adjoining the rural area, and I can hear that question in my head to this day. I've been a part of the Black Experience Book Club that is meeting at the Ryan High and Northland. And it's been very interesting to be in that book club and to have perspective from someone that has had these lived experiences as well. Maybe not exactly the ones you have, but certainly to be able to help some of us to have more of an understanding of what that must be like, what it has been like for them. So I've appreciated this opportunity to be a part of that book club and to have read your book with them together. My second question is about your new book, Symphony of Secrets. Can you talk about it?
Yeah. Symphony of Secrets is, when I wrote it, I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified because I didn't know if people were going to accept it because it was not Violin Conspiracy Part 2. And all of the other seasoned authors that I had spoken with, they all said the same thing. Oh, that second book. Oh, it's just the second book. You know, it's just get it done, get it over with. I'm like, all right, I've already failed, and I'm a one-hit wonder, and I'm done. But I put it away after writing it, and I didn't look at it, didn't think about it, didn't read it for about 3 months, 4 months. And then I went back and read it again. Oh, did I write this? Yeah, great story. Yes, I am back. All right, this is good. Symphony of Secrets is a very special story to me because it takes place in 2 time periods, the 1920s and the present day. In the present, there's a musicologist, Professor Bernard Hendricks, who is tasked with authenticating a long-lost piece of music that's supposed to be the greatest piece of music ever written by the greatest American composer ever written. And he gets to authenticate it. And during his process, he and his tech-savvy friend discover, this guy may not have written this piece. He may not have written any of this music. He may have stolen it. And we journey into the past where a young Freddie Delaney meets Josephine Reed, who is a black woman who also lives with autism. And, you know, back then, autism, I think, was formally diagnosed in the 50s. So back in the 20s, they just thought she was crazy. And, you know, the relationship that they have will have ramifications throughout history. And the people who tasked Professor Hendricks with learning about this piece of music will do everything in their power to keep that info from getting out. It's good stuff. Oh, and just in the event that anybody asks, I've already been in touch. You guys have seen the movie The Breakfast Club, yes? You've seen Better Off Dead. I want mine to go. I think I get to. The guy who produced those films approached me about turning Violin Conspiracy and Symphony of Secrets into motion pictures. I know. And to answer your next question, yes, I will be in the movie with a cameo. That's all I want. That's my thing. But yeah, so if you haven't picked up Symphony of Secrets, I mean, there's an Easter egg in the last chapter of the Violin Conspiracy. One of the protagonists is mentioned in the very last chapter of the Violin Conspiracy into Symphony of Secrets. So you can pick up on that. It's a good story. You should read the book. Hey.
Hey, I'm just here to compliment your speech. You were wonderful, very great presenter. But I'm curious if you have seen the short documentary that won the Oscars called The Last Repair Shop. Have you not? Oh, well, you should all watch it. The Last Repair Shop is in California. It's a lab school system that repairs students' instruments for free. And everything is for free, and it's just a beautiful story of all of these technicians and the love that they put into repairing them.
It's on my list to check out. It really is. Thank you.
Sure.
Hey.
My wife just told me she's not going to do it. I don't do this. So anyway, we have so much in common that I can say something. Okay, first of all, I retired 3 years in national financial as a strength teacher.
Oh, cool.
And now I still play with the National Violinist. So the way I came here, I grew up in South Bronx. I started in 7th grade experience class. Actually, music in New York City.
Can you turn it up?
Oh, yeah. So, did you get the first part? I just retired 3 years ago as a strength teacher at Asheville High Asheville School. I'm a violinist for the Asheville Symphony. And I have so much in common with how I got here.
This guy.
So I'm going to say that I had to come up here. My wife just told me she's shocked when I'm doing this. She's in this. But anyway, I grew up in South Bronx. I started strings in 7th grade. I went through high school music in New York City. I graduated from there, and then I got a scholarship to go to North Carolina School of the Arts. And I was there for 70, 72. And then I transferred to Marcy because I had an accident on my left hand. So I graduated from there and I became a teacher. But I had a best friend that we played in high school with tennis like you. We used to sleep in Carnegie Hall, Philharmonic Hall. That was our, bad thing to do. Being out in the streets, whatever. And we got to see Isaac Stern, a bunch of Maurice Strauss.
Wow.
David Nadian.
Wow.
Yeah, when he was classmates with me.
The heavy hitters.
Heavy hitters. And anyway, so here I am. Here in New York City. And but I have to confess something. I got the book about a year ago. My friend was another violinist. But like you said, a violinist, you want to read about violin.
Right.
So I read the first chapter and I said, I'll come back to it, at some time. And I'm going to come back to it now. Because after this, I can't, somebody I gave the book to my wife, so she started reading it. I've got that book in my music book somewhere. So I found it, I've got it here to New York later by you. So
You know what? I think I'll sign it after you finish reading.
So I've got to find you and come find you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for all you've done. I appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. What's your name?
I think we've got time for one more.
Double fill player, right?
Alright, so much like this last gentleman, this is not something I do. I don't come up and just talk about questions. But I'm very excited to get to meet you and speak to you and hear what you have to say today. I love the Violin Conspiracy. I am not a musician. I don't care about violin. That's not exciting or interesting to me, I may tell you. But this book potentially changed my life a little bit.
What are you doing here nationally?
So my brother is a professional percussion player in Bloomington, Indiana. He went to the school of music there. And I really love it. The way that Brendan describes things, he said, relatable to me, and I was like, I'll know him. I'm going to see him. But I wanted to come and talk to you about why this book was so impactful to me, because there's so many smaller instances of pain and hardship throughout the book. Microaggressions and the main theft and heartbreak with family members. But throughout it all, Ray has his art and he has an outlet, and that is relatable for a lot of people. And I think the overarching message that I need to get was that you can have gratitude, you can have families chosen or otherwise, and if you can have your art, you're going to be okay. And I'm an artist, and that felt really life-affirming to me.
Wow.
So read something that I didn't really care about at first, and then to get so into it and reading that and be like, that was crazy, and I feel alive.
Wow.
And so I wanted to ask a little bit about your perspective on if that was intentional for you in writing about Ray and his art and his music, keeping him afloat throughout the whole book.
Fantastic question. Thank you for your journey. Thank you for sharing. Appreciate that. Thank you for your contributions to art. Thank you.
Thank you.
With Ray, it was a journey. It started off. So many people we hear at some point, they're like, no, you can't. No, you should not. No, stop. No. Do what you love because you love it. And don't ever let anyone tell you that you can't. That's really what I wanted people to take from it. I just wanted to share this young man's journey, well, basically my journey through his eyes, just to let people know that, no, it's not all, rose-colored, but everything is not easy. Everything is not easy. If something is worth doing and worth having, it's worth working for, working hard for. And just because, you've got the money, or you've got the prestige, or you've got the notoriety, you've got all of that stuff, but you still have to have the love of doing what it is that you do. It doesn't matter how much you have, if it's not intrinsic, if you don't love it, it's not going to mean anything. All the money in the world, it won't mean a thing. And it pains me because there are people who will never be able to experience this, ever. And that's heartbreaking. to meet because, you know, either they will never have the opportunity because of where they live or their socioeconomic status or, you know, their finances, they'll never be able to do that. And my goal is to just bring awareness so that people can have these experiences because they are life-changing. And they will, you know, not everyone is on the doctor track or the lawyer track or the engineer track. We need creative outlets. You know, that kindergartner who's singing to himself all the time in the corner, he needs a creative outlet. You know, that woman who's standing in the, you know, back of the office, you know, as she's, you know, doing a little dance as she's, copying paper, she needs a creative outlet. It's okay to do it because you love it, and don't ever let anyone tell you that you can't, regardless. There are always going to be obstacles, always. You can work past them. I'm living proof that it works. You can do it. Thank you.
Super short.
I just want to say, whoever loved the person who was guilty, that was the one thing in the book I didn't like. And I really got mad when I thought, she can't be guilty. I really believed her love. As a fiction reader and mystery reader and stuff, I was really mad that she was. I didn't see that coming at all. So all of those other people were bad. I wanted them to be together.
I got a lot of hate because there's so many people. Oh, thank you so. Oh, why would you do that? Not everything is always pretty in life. That's a sign of a good book. Right? I'll toot my own.
All right, can we give one more round of applause for Brendan? I hope y'all can hear me. So we're going to switch gears a little bit now to our book signing. Brendan's going to be up here at this table. We're going to help facilitate that. So the idea here is we're going to line up down this aisle. If you need a copy of the book, or if you would like to purchase a copy of Brendan's books, there will be secrets, novel props,